Hi, this is Everett, Everett's Watercolors. Welcome to my studio. This is Everett, Simply Drawing with Everett tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm broadcasting live from my studio here tonight to LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and also later on to Instagram. In the studio tonight with my wife, Gloria.
Hello.
And she'll be monitoring the broadcast and also checking my chat room. The chat room's live, so if you have questions during the broadcast, give me a question or a comment, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And after the program, you can leave a comment in the video below after the broadcast, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, well, tonight I'm going to do another drawing, and I'm going to do something that I really enjoy doing. It's something outside my yard. So let's get over there and to my drawing table overhead. Wrong one. Okay, I'm going to do a sundial, and this is a sundial. It's right near the house. And right now, a sundial. The purpose of the sundial is to show the time using the sun. And right now, it's pointing at about 10 o'clock in the morning when I took this photograph. And I did a quick drawing while I was out there. You can see here I did a drawing on location right there, sitting on a chair, and I did a quick drawing, a little bit of color on that. So I'm going to do that something like that here tonight. So first thing I'm going to do is take this away. I got a piece of sketch paper, 8.5 by 11, and I've got a couple pencils. I got a 4B and a HB pencil, graphite pencil, and a little eraser to erase any marks. And I'm going to mark up some of this shape with my ink pen, my fountain pen with dark waterproof ink in it. So what I'll do here now, I've got a photograph I'm going to put here up on the side, and that's my reference. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do. First thing I'm going to do is draw. I'm going to draw the dial, and you notice it's a circle, but at this angle, it turns out to be an ellipse. So I'm going to start down here. I'm going to estimate the bottom of the ellipse here, and the top of the ellipse here. So that's how wide it is, and then I'm going to the side points over here. And over here, and I'm going to draw that, it's an elliptical shape. So I'm drawing in a rough here. I'm just roughing it in with the HB pencil. With the HB pencil, which is a lighter lead. I'm going to get the general shape in. So the most important part of this drawing is, of course, the sundial itself. Okay, I got the ellipse in. Okay, now there's a little dial on top. This is the dial that casts the shadow, and it comes down. There's a little figure on the top here, and it has a little opening. There's a base to it. That's all connected to the disc. Okay, now we're going to capture the body of the drawing here. Now there's a little section underneath. You can see from the photograph there's a little. It's in shadow, but I'm going to draw the outline, and then I'll get the. I'll see. Estimate the length. I'm doing a little bit of contour drawing here. I'm looking at the photograph, and that's about where I am, and I'll come down here. This is basically, I'm going to make this vertical. Come down about that far, and I'm going to come on the other side and come down. Then get the base. Start about here, and it comes around, it's circular. make a circle this way, come around to the other side, and that has another circle below that. Has like a groove to it, like that. And then the bottom base that it sits on, a little bit wider. Let's come this way. Comes around, and then there's a little side. I can see the side of it. It's a little bit thicker. Give it some depth. And it goes back into shadow. Okay, now I'm going to draw the shadow pattern. There's a shadow pattern off to the side here. It starts right here and angles off this direction. And then in the back it comes about, it starts right here at this little bulge. And now it slopes up just slightly because there's grass there, it's sitting on the grass, next to the grass. And it comes together. Then there's a shadow of the actual disc itself. And that's that angle. I'm trying to get the angle there, just about what it would be coming down with a sundial. It would be about like this. Okay, now this is part of there's a concrete slab here it's sitting on. So I'm going to go ahead and sketch that in. It starts over here at this base, next to the base, and cuts through the shadow. And it continues on. It's about that angle there. Okay. Then it continues on back here on the other side. Continue the line. Then it kind of fades off a little bit. Some grass. Okay. So I've got the outline done. And I'm going to go ahead and put in a little bit. Let me show you a little close up here. I got the outline done with the pencil. Now I'm going to go ahead and darken it in with the pen. I won't darken all the lines. I'm just going to darken some of the prominent lines. And also I'll mark those grooves in also. So I'll start back here in the shadow. And I'm using the fountain pen with permanent ink. I'll come down here. I got that part. And let me see, I'll go around this angle. And then this angle here. I'm getting a base here. I'm getting a base set up. I'm going to work on the right side here because that's the darkened shadow. So the pen won't show up as much. And that shadow pattern, I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Let's see, it comes in about, it starts up here at the base, and it comes across here, and then it comes down. There's the shadow. I'll go put that in. That's the shadow pattern. There's an edge right there, so I'll put that down. So I'm going to use the pen here really to mark the shadow point. Get this edge here. Down to this point here. Now I'm going to go ahead and put some of these grooves in. There's a groove right here. I'll go ahead and put a line in. There's a little, I guess I call it a groove, but it's part of the design of the structure. Come on down. Make it look a little realistic here. And then there's one more over here, just a little one here. And that doesn't show up too much, just a hint. And down here at the bottom, And there's a little one over here, this side. Okay. Now while I'm over here, maybe I'll get the other side here. Just to, I can draw this side in. It's equal. Come across. And then this curves here. And then I'll get the bottom. And that comes around. I'll go ahead and make the line in. Draw the line in. It'll be a hard line. The base comes down. Comes on around. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and draw the shadow in. That's also can be a hard line. It's a hard edge, so I'll go ahead and put that in. It's a hard edge with the sun hitting the sundial and showing up on the ground here. And this side over here. And the angle that the sun's hitting it, and there's the shape of the sundial base. And I'll go ahead and put the top in. I'll get the shadow pattern of the top. It's an oval shape. I'm following my pencil lines here, my guidelines. And I think up here I'll make the dial itself. I'll get there's a pointer there. And then it comes down here as a base. I get this in nice and straight here. There's a base to it. And this way, there's a back to this. There's a little hole in there, a little opening, and then there's the cast shadows right here. Okay. And I think I'll make a couple. There's a sharp edge on the dial itself. I think I'll put a little bit of that on there, so it will show up. Okay. Okay, and then the edge of the baseline here, where the grass and the concrete meets, I'll put a little line there, just a reference line. Okay. Okay, so I've got, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some watercolor on this. I'm not going to draw the whole thing in. There's some more detail in there. I got just enough of it in to draw. And also, you know, watercolor won't be very good on the lines either. I'm going to put a few notes up here. I'm just going to make a few lines just to indicate that there are lines up here that show the time. I'm going to put a few lines up here just to give a simulation. Okay, that's enough to show it off. Okay, so now I'm going to get my watercolors and put a little watercolor on this now. So I got about 90% of it drawn in with pen and pencil, and the rest I'm going to fill in with color. So let me move my my board here and get my watercolor ready. And I need a brush. There it is. Okay, wet up my brush. Okay, so what I'm going to use, some the colors I used with that demonstration I showed you. I'm going to put the colorful color. I'm going to use orange up here on the actual sundial. Actually, I think this is made out of brass, but because it's been out in the weather, it's all turned not, it hasn't corroded, but you know how brass or bronze will get dark in the weather. And of course, I haven't polished this or cleaned this off, so it's just natural. It's been sitting there for a long time.
We have a question. Is that a color mixture or?
It's right on my palette. This is my orange, yellow orange out of my palette. But I want to make the dial colorful, so I'm using the orange color up here. That's why I'm using it. And I remember I didn't mark off all the points with the pen or pencil. I'm going to let the color kind of fill in the blanks. Now for the baseline, I'm going to use a little bit of brown, burnt sienna. So make it a different color, a lighter color. And this will define the edges, which I didn't draw the edge over here because this was in the sun. So I'm going to let the color. I'm going to let the color show over here, the edge there. And there's a shadow on this side over here. Now the baseline. I'm going to make it all one color. This is old metal, so it's sitting out in the weather all the time. Gets rained on and sunshine on all the time, every day. So it doesn't wear out. That's one thing about a sundial. It will last as long as the material lasts, and still does its job. So roughly painting this in. Now I'll go ahead and put a little darker color now on the shadow. So I'm going to put a little bit of take a little bit of ultramarine blue with that burnt sienna, and come in here and do the shadow pattern. A darker brown over here in the shadows. This is shadow edge over here. I'm not trying to do exactly as the photograph. I'm just making up my own little colors here, but I am making this darker because it's in shadow. And I'll leave a little edge. I'll leave a little white edge along the edge here to show the edge of that disc. This is under shadow here.
We have a comment that colored pencils would work also.
Oh yes, absolutely. Color pencils. Comments on color pencils. Yes, you can use watercolor, color pencils. You can use colored pens. I would use something water soluble. It's easier to handle. It's with a brush, with a water brush. A little more burnt sienna, a little more, put a little more ultramarine with that brown, darken it up. Okay, following the edge here a little bit. Let's see. So it goes down, and then it goes. The shadow kind of goes around at an angle also. The shadow, because the shadow doesn't cover the whole device here. Let's see. So let's see. So the shadow is going to start right here on the side here. So mixing it with that ultramarine blue, which is a blue, is going to give it a cool shade, which would indicate the sun and shadow, which will be cooler than the sunlight. Now back here, to stay, this is not really not going to be an actual painting. This is just, I could start picking up a little bit of the green from the grass, because when a shadow goes across, no, this is a little watercolor lesson, that when the shadow goes across an object, it picks up the color of the surface and cools it down. So this would be a green grass, and it would have a little bit of blue mixed in that. It'll be a little bit darker than that. It's got to come up a little bit darker. So I'll put a little more blue into that green. Give it a more shadow pattern, a more shadow color. It'll be a dark green up back here, because it's got the shadow into the grass. So part of this drawing was not just getting the object itself, but also to capture the shadow pattern shape. And I'll make this a little bit darker here because it's in shadow. And make this a little bit darker here. So I'm adjusting the value of that shadow. It should be a little bit darker in the shadow area. I'll put a little more bluer in. I'm adding a little more blue to that brown color to cool it down, also to make it a little bit darker. Okay. All right. Now, as far as finishing touches here, I think I can take that same color. This is a and I'll give these rounded. These edges here are rounded, so that they're not flat. There's a curve to it, so I'm going to put a little bit of depth there to show roundness of that. Okay. There, and this. There. And then just to give one last little touch here, there's these little grooves have got a shadow in them too. I'll put a little shadow here. These little grooves on the side of the base are in shadow, just a little slight shadow. They're little dents or little grooves in the side. I'll put those in to give a little dimension also. Okay. And the last touch I'm going to make up here, it's going to be the shadow from the light on the dial. And now with a bigger brush, I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to think about putting the the background. Not going to put a lot of the background in behind because it doesn't really matter, but just to kind of finish off the drawing here a little bit and to finish off the discussion here, this would be a green grass in the sun out here. I'll put a little bit around the sundial just to indicate the colors. And excuse me. And because there's green around this shadow over here, that would also finish off the story. Okay. Okay, all right. Well, that completes the drawing. What I've done now is I've gone ahead and drawn in the sundial, which is an oval shape, and some of the numbers are up there. And then I got the shadow pattern and the grooves and the shape and the size. And I got the shadow pattern here that's cast on the grass. Okay, and a little bit of background color just to set it off. Okay, but let me bring it up close so you can see that. What I'm going to do is take this, let me take the sundial picture off, bring it up closer. Okay, so that's a close-up of the drawing right there. So that was a pencil drawing with a little bit of waterproof ink, and then I added in the, okay, let's put a frame around it. Yeah, it's nice, okay. You can put a little mat board around it, and make it into a nice little painting. Okay, and this happens to be I've had this sundial for over 20 years, so it's been out there a long time. Okay, let's go back to my main camera. Okay. That's Everett's Simply Drawing Whatever, having another good time. I drew one of my favorite subjects, which is a sundial, and I do that maybe once a year or so forth. Different seasons, in the fall and in the summer. Even in the winter, if it was snowing out there, I'd get some snow background. So I had a lot of fun. So we're going to be back next week at 7:30 p.m. on Eastern Standard Time for Simply Drawing with Everett, and then I'll be back on Thursday also at 2:00 p.m. with Everett's Watercolors to do a watercolor demonstration. And I have a little Sunday session with anyone can draw one line. So yeah, that'd be fun for you to watch into. If you're subscribed to this channel, you'll be aware of all those. You'll be notified of all those videos. Oh, give me a thumbs up and a like, and subscribe to my channel if you like what's going on here. And share this channel or this video with your friends and neighbors and so forth. So I'll see you on the next live Thursday, 2 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So have a safe